tell me. Well, hello.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. Okay, so we are back. We're just checking that we're live, and it looks like we are live. We see some advertising. So, thank you for being here if you are, or if you're watching that later. It's the second Q&A after launch. So we wanted to go back over some of your questions that you had in the past days, some of your concerns, also to give you some updates on what we have in mind, what's coming up next. And that's more or less it. Yes. So while you guys come up on the chat, we'll start to just to look at some of your questions that you sent us on the forums. Okay, so that's the chat room, right? Okay, can you try to type something? Wow, okay. It works. Okay, guys. So we'll start slow by something very general, and we have some players. We have Taffy XZ asking for general gameplay tips, how to play efficiently endless space for new players still fresh with such genre of games. Do you have any tips that you don't want to give?
Well, I'm not a great game designer as you are, so
but a great player.
So it's for the general gameplay, or because there's tons of let's play videos on the internet. I mean, the VIPs have done lots of them. Other fans have started to do some. So thing is, it's a rich game, and actually I don't know if we have all the possible strategies to play the game efficiently right now, but I guess it's part of the lifespan of the game to discover these possibilities, and also you can check on the Let's Play videos, but I don't know what else you would like to say.
For me, what I can say is, as you were saying a bit, it would take a lifetime to be able to discuss all the strategies that you have in such a game and such games in the genre. That's the whole point of these games, but maybe we can give you some easy tips, really for real beginners. You know, it's like you're just starting the game and you have no idea what to do. One thing, don't be afraid to press enter. The problem is sometimes when you start these games, you always feel like you're forgetting something, and it's better to try to go on and move your units, press enter, and maybe you forgot something. That's okay. You'll learn and you discover what you're missing, and from game to game, you'll fix on that. But just don't spend like 15 minutes in a turn, because if you do so, like, you'll feel like the pace is very slow, and actually the pace is as fast as you want it to be, or as slow as you want it to be. So it's very important to not be afraid to press and turn, move around, explore. I would build my city in the first turn if I can, at least at the beginning of the game. But I rarely. It's long discussions about that. Some people will say you have to place your settler on the first turn. Others will say it's better to wait another turn if you don't find the perfect spot. Anyway, first turn, second turn, whatever. At least at the beginning of the game. You have 3 units, split them on the first turn. Long discussion. Use, your military units to explore a bit, to make sure you really know well your region. Don't be afraid to go in another region. For me, technology-wise, when I start the game, I tend to go for classics, meaning something like more industry, or more science, or more food. Very classic stuff.
You have some nice equipments right at the beginning of the game. There's an accessory which gives you +1 to speed, so it means you can explore faster. So don't forget to equip it on your hero, and on your units. You can retrofit them easily. It's not very expensive, and 1 or 2 movement points in addition means a lot in terms of exploration about the whole region. And as a rule, I think it's you equipping the units with the right weapons, armor, accessories is really critical to win the battles. So the first designs you have for your basic units, except for the hero, which has a nice armor and weapons, make sure you have a helmet, armor, leggings on all your basic units, because you can improve them, retrofit them, and usually it's going to give you a much better results in battle.
Yeah, and it's true. Actually, looking at the equipment, for me, what I do sometimes is I create a scout unit with only that item, So it's very cheap to build after. It like takes, with a normal production at the beginning of the game, like 3 turns to build it, and it could be very interesting to go and to use it to explore very quickly around your area. Especially at the beginning of the game, you don't have miners yet. They will come after turn 10 most of the time, depending on which setting you take. So it's a perfect moment to explore without having any risk of being attacked. So yes.
Also, discovering the parlay technology to be able to talk to minor villages can be interesting because they give you quests to possibly pacify the whole region, and sometimes these quests are very easy to perform, or they correspond to what you're doing, because sometimes they ask you to build a new city, and so when you're actually already building the settler to do that. So basically you're going to fulfill the task and what you want to achieve, and with 3 pacified villages. So don't be afraid to talk to the villages to get some quests, because if you cannot make the quest, you can still bribe them or destroy them. But it's really important that to try all the quests, and then because it can save you some time and give you a great advantage at the beginning of the game.
And for me, I very often go on early game for the marketplace because I can buy units there that can help me.
Yeah, it's cheating this way, actually in Modifiers.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, so especially for early wars or defending yourself against miners or stuff, it's pretty interesting. And also, the more you buy miner units, the more expensive it is for everyone else's. So it's kind of fun gameplay where you can get units before the others, and then it's more difficult for the others to get them. So. Okay, so that was a few tips for early game.
If you play Draken, try to place your city next to an endless ruin, because it's going to give you lots of influence points, which is very important for this faction. And if you have 1, 2, where when you expand your city, it's going to be a great bonus. So it's useful.
Okay, so we'll move on for the next question. As you can see, we can discuss that for a very, very long time. So and we are not the best players, but so you find better tips on the forums from the guys. Another question, which is more about what's coming up next, and it's from Edward Falcon. How likely are we to see naval combat in the future?
So I suppose there's also some clarification needed for this question. Do you mean that units transform into ships could fight against each other? Would they deploy on a battle? Or did you have in mind actual pure naval units like galleys or stuff like that, which are just which goal is to have sea supremacy as opposed to seeing land battle deploying on the ocean? So maybe it would be interesting to start a thread on the forum to see what are your ideas, because it's possible. It's not obvious. Yes, I want naval warfare. Okay, so the thing is, everything is happening on the terrain in Endless Legend, so we don't want to have a boat loading up with some kind of big ship with units on top of it. So ship on ship. Okay. Okay, so it's something completely different which we don't have in the game. It would be a different pace for the battle.
Well, at first we wanted to have it. It's just we had to choose our fights.
You wanted to have it, but it was not in the plan. That's
I always want everything. I'm not responsible. So, but would be interesting
on the ground. Okay, so I think a good thread to discuss that with all the ideas you have would be nice, so that we can come to a decision or maybe a vote, depending on what you suggest. Okay.
Yes. Last time we had a vote was for multiplayer on
Dungeon.
The
and, it was.
Did you like it?
The best vote of the community, but it's your vote. So.
It was painful. We have to admit it. Okay, maybe a few questions from you guys. I don't know if you have any.
What did you want? Ship on ship battle?
We wanted basically my idea for our idea like at the beginning was to have the same on land or on sea that you had on land. We thought at first that we would build ship units and be able to embark units, embark armies, have war machines on the sea, basically be able to siege cities from the sea. Well, it's very kind of epic, but it's a big chunk, and the thing is, as always with Mathieu, when we decide to do something, we just want to make sure that we can do it well. We wouldn't want to do it halfway. So that's why we definitely need to discuss it and see how much.
It's not something we can do right now. We cannot rush it. So we have to discuss the design with you.
Yes. Would be expensive to do, basically. So we have to be careful on how we do it.
And when we do it.
Yeah, when we do it. Okay. Other questions? No?
So we have the first question: how integral are the main quest line for the faction balance? I'm not sure I understand the question. You mean are we done with the quest line for the whole factions, or is there a problem of balance in the current quests?
So basically, I'm not sure to understand the question either, but as you talk about faction balance, I mean, not all main quests are have the same difficulty, and it's true that, you know, as somehow these quests are with a lot of random, you know, and sometimes they could be easy to complete, sometimes they could be difficult to complete. So we're aware that, you know, that not always at the same difficulty, but again, we're definitely looking at your feedback on that. Multiple teams, option for 3-3 and stuff. That would be nice.
Yes.
It's something we can do.
I assume this would be adapted maybe to some kind of predefined scenario as well. Maybe to some kind of layout.
To start the game,
Because I played that in Civilization with, you know, when you have 3 players and 3 on top, and it was really made for this kind of 3 versus 3.
But even on the random map, for example.
But teams, it's like a forced alliance.
Yes.
We have to make some GUI to support that. It would be more for a complete add-on, but it's not something simple we can do right now.
Okay. But that would be nice.
So, for example, for the difficulty of quest, ardent mages get 2 units. If I would play without them, would the factions be unbalanced?
Not sure.
Unbalanced because...
But basically, all your quests, all the main quests, give you bonuses and big advantages. And we want that for the people who play the main quest to have a bonus from that, but it's just a bonus. It won't change, you know, everything. You should be able to play without completing your main quest, and you should be able to play well without it. But at the same time, doing a main quest is an investment. So if you do that investment, you should be rewarded for that, and therefore have an advantage compared to someone who does not play the main quest. So I'm not sure it answers your question, but I think that's more or less the idea. So yes, it does give you an advantage to complete it and to have these 2 units. Okay, cool. So we have questions about battles. There's one that comes back at every Q&A. I see that it comes back often in the forums, often also in articles. I think I answered it 3 times already, but I just want to make sure. That was a question from Nosferatiel. I'm not sure that's the one I answered already, but just in case. What are the current terrain modifiers for forest and high differences? What are they applied on? So basically, in the battle, if you have the height advantage, so if you are on the higher ground than someone else, you will get 30% bonus on your attack. Therefore, you will most likely hit your enemy. You have more chances to hit your enemy, and probably for more damage, because what defines if you do a normal attack or a critical attack or fumble is your ratio attack to defense, and it's a random on that. So the higher your attack, the better it is, and therefore being on higher ground gives you much better attack. Then if you go on the forest, you know, that's your defense that gets 30% bonus, so it's important to be on the forest for that. And then, you know, having better morale obviously gives you 15% per bonus per morale point, both on attack and defense. To get morale, you need to have a friendly unit close to you. So you have 2 friendly units close to me, I would get 30% bonus on attack and defense. And if you are in a city, you have like 3 points of morale, so it's 45% bonus attack and defense. So being in a city and with friends around can be extremely strong position. Imagine that on top of that you are in a city on high ground, you can really be very hard to resist. So
And the morale is computed at the beginning of the turn. So if the unit moves as part of its attack,
doesn't lose the morale.
it doesn't lose the morale until the beginning of the next turn.
Exactly. So yeah.
It's important to understand because sometimes you see units attacking another one, but you see, I don't understand, he doesn't have friends around him because he had them at the beginning of the turn, and then he keeps the morale.
Yeah. Okay, just last thing, question, but still about the combat damage. The damage is defined by your units and its equipment. And damage is only modified by the type of attack that you're doing. So, for example, if my attack succeeds, it's a normal attack, and I will get 100% of my damage. If my attack is a critical, I will get 150% of my damage. And if I do a fumble, meaning it's more or less I did not manage to pass a normal attack, I will do 75% of my damage. And then I can critically miss, which is 0% of my damage. Okay. We have a question from Dman777. Are minor faction bonuses activated when they're pacified or only when they are assimilated?
Well, the answer is only when they are assimilated. The good thing is the bonus is usually depending on the number of villages of the factions that you have. So sometimes you have one region with this faction, but you may want to collect another region which you colonize as well, and then you don't have to assimilate again because it's already assimilated to your empire, and then you can add maybe 3 villages. So with 5% DOS bonus, if you have 6 villages, it's 30% on your empire, so it can be pretty big. So of course you could try to diversify, but having colonizing region of the same factions could be very powerful.
Okay, we have another question from Temios Battles. In your last video you said that the units have so many hit points because it was originally planned for battles to last more rounds with new reinforcements arriving each round. So that was, well, yeah. And that sounds very intriguing. Do you have plans for implementing this in the future? So no, we don't have plans for that in the future. But yes, the original plan, we had 2 ideas that we wanted to add in the battles. One, we wanted to be able to, during the battle, be able to bring other armies and to join the battle. So for example, if I had an army not so far, I could come and enter the area of the battle, and therefore I would be added as reinforcement in the battle. And that would have added extra rounds. So the battle would have gone on for 3 more rounds, for example. And like that, you could have had very long battles with people bringing reinforcements. And our dream would have been to have also allies or enemies joining the battles also. So that would have been very interesting. It's tricky to do, so you won't see it, I guess, in that version of Endless Legend. But it's something that for the future we'll always keep in mind, and it's a good idea that we want definitely to keep there somewhere and one day to use again. So we hope we can.
I think at some point also in the early development we wanted to have an expanding battle zone based on how many armies were joining the fight. But since the engineers would have committed suicide, we took that feature away and went to something more focused.
We said for now only. Okay. What are the chances we'll see espionage by spring 2015? Mathieu, that's for you.
So it's espionage is definitely part of the things we want to do. Spring 2015, I don't know, maybe it's possible, but maybe a bit early. We want to take the right time to do the add-ons the way we want to do it. Right now, I think we have some stuff to fix on the AI, a bit of stuff on diplomacy, some quests we want to add, some stuff like that. So we're going to go first with the low-hanging fruits and the most important stuff to do right now, and then for new content, 2015 definitely spring. Well, spring lasts until the 21st of June, I think. So maybe not. Maybe yes.
Okay.
Maybe not. Maybe it's not impossible.
Voilà.
Yes.
Okay, cool. We have another question from Europa Features. In endless space, we could save galaxy maps by writing down seed numbers for the generated galaxy. So we were able to do that at one point.
Yes. So actually, our producer told me a few minutes ago that he wanted to display as a temporary display for now. When you press the escape menu, you see the current seed of the game. And then in the game option, when you create a game, you can re-enter this same seed to have the same generated world.
We still have that option in, right?
We do have the option,
But
but it was not displayed as of now. So we're going to add it for
release,
an update very soon. So we're in the process of doing that. And then what we aim to having is to display in the pause screen the whole settings on the map, so that, for instance, when everything was random, you can see, okay, so it generated a word such as this by just displaying the current option. But it's going to take more time to do the proper GUI display. But before that, we want to display the seed. So I think it answers the question. We have also, speaking of seed, saving the map, a question from Vieux-Chat. Hello Vieux-Chat. What's the actual status of the editor? So the thing is, I've created some kind of prototype editor to make the tutorial of the game, which allowed us to edit the map to slightly change it to fit the tutorial. It's using our internal game editor, Unity. So and obviously, you must have all the sources of the project to run it. So right now we cannot deliver such an editor, but so we'll have to make the tools to edit inside the actual game. So it's going to take some more time.
But we will do it.
We have to see. It's a lot of work.
Okay,
it's a lot
so
of work.
It's not sure.
So if we want to make the possibility of editing scenarios, for instance, or mini campaigns, we will have to give you this editor, but it requires quite some work to do it. We have it in a very unfriendly inside the technology that sadly you cannot access way, but to make it the right way, it's a lot of work. But also, if there's another option, is that we basically the world generator outputs an XML file describing where are the axes, their altitude, the regions, the resources. So if someone is very motivated by that, he could read this data and have the ability with the editor to modify the altitude and stuff like that. So it's also a possibility if you want to work on that. If you want this to be a project for the community, we can give you all the info you will need to do that.
Cool. Okay. We have a question from Edward Falcon. The Misery Volters skin looks really freaking cool. Cool. Is there any chance we may see different skins for some of the other factions in the future? Could it be possible?
It could be possible. The one technical limitation we have is that we have so many units. Well, not enough for so many for some people, but we have so much units, content, texture that basically the game it fits in the video memory, but it could be dangerous to add more content. But still, the thing is,
we're replacing this one.
Yes, and the thing is, now we have 8 factions maximum in the game, which can be played at the same time. So even if we add new factions, they're not going to be present at the same time in the game. So it's possible to add new content based on your request. It means a lot of work to add it for the other 7 factions. So maybe if you have preferences, if you want to make some kind of special story about new factions, I don't know, maybe if you feel creative and you want to make a new story, new quest line, new lore, and then we can help you with that, building a special skin.
Now, I mean, what I would really like, really is, when you select custom faction, to be able to choose different skins for your custom faction. So you could decide to be a Volter, custom faction 1, 2, or 3, custom skin, and and whatever. So that could allow you to better personalize, your custom faction. So that could be very interesting. It is quite some work for us. But also that could open the door for maybe for modders. For example, we could that way. If you guys would want to create custom skins, then it could be an opportunity. So anyway, it's not support we have today, but it's I think it's a very interesting direction. Okay. So what about not having twice the same faction when choosing them by random? Okay, it's interesting. What we have in the game today, and is actually we could have that as an option. Anyway, today the way it works is when a faction has already been taken random by the computer, the next one is very unlikely to be the one that was already picked by the computer. So. The way we've done it, we authorize it to happen. So, when it's random, you may have up to 2 similar factions, rarely more. It was it was more, unsure, less predictable. Not always the same 8 factions, happening around but there is already a kind of a weight that limits the possibility for the same faction to appear too often. We could also work on that, or just give you the option to say I don't want twice the same faction. So that could be also an easy tweak.
What if you just said, I want in ES2?
The what?
Space,
the random?
The unique random, actually, I guess so.
The limits, I don't think it's an extra. I think it was in code directly. I don't think it was exported. So no, but or maybe we could export it.
It's one of the features we can start with. The only complexity, technology-wise, is that since you have to broadcast to all the players on the network the random factions, I think once the random faction is selected, the dice are cast right away. So we have to make some kind of mechanics to delay that until the faction is already started. But we'll discuss it with the engineer. It's part of the things we can do soon.
Okay, it's another question for you, Mathieu, from Etienne Helm. But modding, what modding can we expect and when?
Okay, so we have started working on the first step of modding. So we have a new screen where you can select among a list of mods. Our technical director has prepared the new folder system when you're going to be able to replace or add content to files. So basically, it's going to be up to you in the XML files to specify if a mod is a conversion or an addition to something existing. So, eventually. So this is the first step. We want to do that in the coming weeks. So obviously we'll have some QA to do on it. But then again, you will have a big warning when accessing the mod screen, because you use it as your own risk if some people do not understand properly the files or mix up the XML. But it should be a good first step. I mean, you're going to be able to edit a lots of things, technologies, building effects,
items, units,
faction traits. So you can cheat all the factions if you want to play with mods.
And they will play in multiplayer too.
And too. So we will have detections of to make sure that all the people have the same mod when playing together. You're going to be able to modify some of the parameters of the AI as well. So obviously you will have tons of questions, so you will have to make some tutorial explanations on how to use the different files. But it's getting there, so it's step 1, and then depending on the status, on your need, we can see how far we can go.
So question from Devil Dog: how can I buy your artwork? Okay, we never thought about that one, but anyway, it's cool that you like it. It's true that for now, we're thinking a lot about the art book. We want also to advertise more on the art being created by our artists. So we'll find ways to share all our arts on some kind of forums and stuff, and Etienne is working on that.
The question is, are you looking for
paintings,
physical objects, physical items, T-shirts or posters, stuff like that? Or because well, maybe I'm not supposed to say that, but on the forums we have plenty of art from Endless Legend, which you can print.
Or you need maybe better resolution.
Actually, we have nice paintings behind us, which we do at special hardware stores. But anyway,
what we could do is share some of high resolutions. We
could share some high resolutions.
So you could really print them, on kind of stuff. For us, it was like 200 euros. I think,
not even that. It's
150.
100 euros
for the big one.
For the big one.
So you have some and really, I mean, you can't say it, but it's really good quality. So we have quite a few of them, and I would definitely recommend that. So that could be a possibility.
Yeah.
So painting physical books.
Okay.
Well, we'll work on that to try to make sure that you can do that, and could maybe recommend some sites that do some good quality stuff to print.
Okay.
We have some.
How are sales going at this point? Sales are good.
Yeah. No, it's true. Like last time when we discussed, we were disappointed. We actually, and it's true. I should have said by that actually. We asked you guys to come help us because nobody was talking about us. We had no reviews. We were quite depressed, and we could really see that you guys mobilize. We've seen it all over Twitter, on other forums, on our forums of course, but on each review site, we could recognize some of you guys talking about the game. All of that did work, and I mean, we haven't sold 1 million copies, but it's anyway, it's not the point. It's not what we're aiming for. But we're much happier, much more confident in the future now. I think it was a strange start because nobody was expecting us when we arrived, and
there was a fierce competition.
Fierce competition, yeah, of great games that we play also, or would love to play. I would say it's more realistic. But anyway, so now it's good. It's very happy.
Yeah, what we saw in the past was usually a big peak and then a strong decline. Now what we see is steady.
Yeah, it's steady good sales, and new people coming every day, new stuff that pop up everywhere on the internet talking about us, saying how cool the game is and how unique the settings is and how cool the gameplay is. So
and we have lots of people who want to buy the game, so eventually they're going to do it.
The wish list is huge.
The wish list is huge on Steam, but really huge, really. Twice or 3 times what we had on Endless Space. We have great Steam recommendations. Yes, they are. We have great reserve reviews thanks to you on Metacritic. We're now at 82% from press reviews, which is great. We deserve 1 million copies. Yeah, but but we don't like money at AmpliMath, so we're not interested.
No. We'll give them for free.
Okay. So this is looking good.
Cool. Okay.
So next.
I'll finish by that one. And then actually we'll go on for some of your questions. So if you guys had some questions, it's time to send them to us. We'll try to pick 1 or 2. And before, while you type your questions, Prabhuda was asking, what is the one item that you most regret not being able to put in the initial release? For me, there are many of them, so I could only pick randomly among these ones. Definitely, to be very easy on this one, the modding, not having the modding available at release, I think it's disappointing. I would have loved to have that yet, even before release. So when the game comes out, you guys could play actually already on mods, and different version made by the community, and that would have been awesome. But anyway, that's not a big regret because it's coming, so that's okay. Gameplay wise, what we discussed about the battles being with new reinforcements, expanding battles. The same battle actually could have lasted over several game turns. Also, at the same time, we wanted also to have your allies joining you, helping you during the battles. That would have been awesome also. And there's one thing is also wanted to have more air battles, to have different kind of stuff. So to give to play with the air as a different type of units, not as a different kind of ground unit with wings, but more like different gameplay. So they could raid, they could bomb, they could a bit like what we had in the end with the raiders. Except they are ground units. But anyway, there could have been a very cool gameplay around the air units, but it's a tricky one also. That's and we have many others, espionage. But as Mathieu said, it's something that is coming. It's just a matter of when.
Well, from a production perspective, I think there's way too much stuff in the game. So, but when you look at it, when you see the reviews, it's true that we have something which is very rich. So maybe we missed on the most exotic ideas, but right now I think we really loaded with content in the game. And for a release, because the game is not finished, I think we had a very good state of the amount of stuff we had in the game.
There is one very cool stuff that we had in mind that I think we'll do our best to add later. It's the wonder system. We have a very cool system for wonders to unlock throughout the game, and to be more like it's not all about building. It's all about doing something better than anyone else on a specific field. So, and that would unlock a wonder. So the kind of achievements, gameplay achievements that you would do in game, and to have people race for these kind of achievements throughout the game, that could be very, very cool. So anyway, that's stuff that we couldn't have for the release, but definitely want to see later. So are you looking into why the world generator sometimes fails in Windows for EL? I never could get it work on Windows, so I played it on Mac instead.
Actually, this is a very difficult bug for us because it never happened at Amplitude. It happened once on a computer at our QA partner, and then they had to reboot the computer, and it was not happening anymore. So it's.
But for people who have that all the time.
Yeah, but we've tried some workaround with running in Windows 7 compatibility mode, running as administrator. We've tried to add some logs, and they don't show much actually. So it's difficult because it's basically the generator which is launched outside of Unity, and something goes wrong by the way the process is launched. But
there is one thing which is for
very
sure
hard to us to determine.
All the players that talked with me about it, they had issues with their antivirus.
Yeah.
And each time it fixed it, they just added an exclusion in the antivirus.
Some of the people still have the issues.
Voilà. So if you tried the antivirus thing and didn't help, then we're in the case of Mathieu. They're having trouble.
So I'm sorry about that, but the scope of PCs is so huge, and we cannot reproduce it. So if someone really has the same issue, maybe we can try remote debugging by sharing the screen, but still it's not ideal. But if someone is really pissed off with this and is becoming crazy because the game is not running, maybe we can try to arrange a debug session. Okay, maybe we can finish in terms of plan, in terms of deadlines, of what people should expect.
Do we have any more questions to pick, and then you can conclude? They're going to be implemented any kind of enhancements on economics and government administration. So Veritar is asking if we're going to try to enhance economics in the game. It's an ongoing project, definitely. So we're following that very closely. We won't change the mechanics as far as I know, but we definitely tweak a lot of that. So yes.
I mean, we'll be tweaking the game content all along the life cycle of the game. So.
Oh yes, and marketplace wise. So there was a second part of your question. You're asking if anyway there's improvements on the marketplace in politics, and we'll definitely work on that. Definitely. It's very important for us to improve the mechanics behind the marketplace. Okay, so maybe you wanted to conclude, Mathieu?
Yeah, on the plan we're going to follow, because we've been in a release mode, focusing on bugs to fix. So it's hard when you're in that mode to start a a brand new thing, a big feature, something. So we have to start again to go into production. So for the coming weeks, we're still going to polish some stuff, to fix some bugs, maybe deliver the modding if we can as soon as possible, and then we'll go for like we had an Enderspace, a free add-on system with some kind of a theme for each of the add-ons to try to group together a set of consistent features, and all along that will improve the AI, the UI, accessibility. What else did we say?
Well, any plans for the AI on short term?
On short term, we found some bugs in the AI, some stuff she was not doing right. So maybe it's going to be part of the updates. But if we want to have to add completely new behavior, it's going to require some more development.
Okay, so that will be it for today.
So what I'm speaking about for the 2 add-on, it's going to be for the 4 to 5, 3 to 4 coming months, I think. And then we'll see how the game
so we can expect new
unfolds.
add-ons for Christmas.
We hope to have new add-ons for Christmas.
Wow. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Anyway, we'll try to have tomorrow print out of these questions and answers. And feel free to go back on the thread, ask more questions for next week. We'll try within 2 weeks to have Flybino coming up here with us and to try to answer questions about the music if you guys are interested. And I'm trying to convince also some of our artists to come and discuss that with you too.
But they're very shy.
They're very shy people. So we'll try. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.